Yeah, baby. Yeah. So, StreamYard is telling me that I'm live. Now I just gotta wait for the YouTube to let you know that I'm live, which they just did. So now the entirety of Vype Nation knows that I'm live and I'm back. And oh boy, whoo doggy, whoo. Oh, we about to have a good old Vyyper rant tonight. Oh yeah. I feel like it's been a while since I had a legitimate Vyyper rant. But I got one tonight, so I'm gonna wait for a few. I'm gonna wait for a few more of you all to get into the chat here, so I can begin the podcast. Because yeah, boy, your boy Vyyper got beef. I got beef. All right, so we're up to 13. This is good. How y'all doing? Nice to see you all tonight. Here in the chat, rocking with your boy Vyyper. I appreciate that. How y'all doing? I see you, Tish. How you doing? I got my man John Michelle out here. We got Techie Tech Guy. What's up, man? What's up? Alan Osborne. Yo. What's happening, y'all? What's happening? Janothan's out there, of course. Tuvo O. What's up, Tuvo? Delaja. What's up? How y'all doing? Oh, we got Tech 702. Yeah. Yes. The YouTube app on iPad does work amazing. Actually, that's what I use to watch the comments as I'm doing these podcasts. So yes, it does work amazing. Absolutely. Let me set some real quick, and then I can go in here and get into my intro. Where is that at? Oh yeah, here we go. Make sure I'll turn this auto lock on the iPhone to never, so I can do what I need to do here. Got a bunch of stuff I need to go through here. Do the damn thing. Get the damn thing done. Let's go. All right. Let me take a quick of my drink here. See what we got. All right, we in the building. All right. Let me get to the introduction and get the podcast on the way. 17 people watching. How y'all doing? I appreciate y'all hanging out with your boy tonight, no doubt. So, tonight is episode 64. Officially, episode 64. And I got beef with Instagram's CEO. Oh, yes. He said some stuff today, and I'm like, is he serious? Are you serious, bruh? Tonight, I gotta talk about it. So, VypDrive, episode 64 starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Vyyper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And tonight, as far as I know, your boy going solo coast to coast, unless there's a prize I don't know about. I don't know. But the plan right now is for your boy to go coast to coast talking about the beef I got with Instagram's CEO. So, one of the things that I've lamented for a long time is the lack of a native Instagram app on iPad. And it kind of perplexed me. I never knew why there was no Instagram app on iPad. I was like, iPad is one of the biggest platforms in the entire world. Millions upon millions of people, billions of people probably have iPads by now, but there has never been an Instagram app. Now, strangely enough, you can download iPad on Instagram, but it is the iPhone app. So basically what happens is that you get it in portrait mode, but you get it the same size that you would get it on your actual iPhone. So if you got like an iPad mini or like a regular like 10-inch iPad or 11-inch or 12-inch, you got Instagram like in this little tiny square in the middle of your iPad, looking just like it would on your iPhone, and it's kind of bananas because it's not optimized to be on Instagram. That is not a native iPad app. That is just the iPad app as it appears on your iPhone, kind of like miniature on your iPad, obviously. But we do not have an Instagram app on iPad natively. So apparently, the CEO of Instagram was asked a question by somebody on Twitter over the weekend, and this dude said some crazy stuff that went a little something like this. Now, I think his last name is Mosseri. I don't know his first name, but apparently Mr. Mosseri, who is Instagram CEO, said, and I quote, "We'd like to build an iPad app, but we only have so many people and lots to do, and it hasn't bubbled up as the next best thing to do yet." All right, let me make sure I scratch my bald head a little bit here. Scratch my bald head a few times so I can make sure I understand you clearly. I'm gonna repeat this quote for the people in the back. So Instagram CEO says, as it relates to why Instagram does not have an iPad app, he says, and I quote, "We'd like to build an iPad app, but we only have so many people and lots to do, and it hasn't bubbled up as the next best thing to do yet." Bruh. Really? You only have so many people and it hasn't bubbled up as the next best thing to do yet? Are you serious, bruh? You only have so many people. Now, I put a whole thing about this out on Twitter earlier today. What did I? Let me find my exact tweet that I tweeted out, because Renee Ritchie ended up retweeting this, and they got a whole lot of traction after that. I mean, this tweet I put out got like 296 times and been retweeted 32 times. I mean, this tweet kind of went mini viral today. But the tweet that I originally put out there as it relates to this whole Instagram situation, I tweeted, and I quote, Vyyper quote. So Instagram CEO says there is no iPad app because Instagram doesn't have the manpower to develop a separate platform. What? It's the same damn platform. Probably identical code. iPad OS was born from iOS. How is it that much different to code for? That was the exact quote I put out on Twitter earlier today. I stand by that quote. I don't understand this stuff. How are you telling me that you don't have the manpower to develop a two platform, and realistically, it's the same platform? Now, I like learning stuff because I know I'm not the smartest dude in the room. I like learning things. So a lot of iOS developers reached out to me today on Twitter to tell me that, you know what, it's not exactly the same thing. Yes, the foundation of code is identical, but developing an app for the iPad is not exactly the same as developing an app for iOS and iPhone, which I understand, because you got to remember, what the iPhones are like either 6 inches, 6.5 inches, or 5.8 inches. And then you got iPad, which range from 7.9 inches all the way up to 12.9 inches. So there is a size and screen aspect ratio variable to consider and things like that when you are making apps for iPad. But again, I will stand by what I said earlier on Twitter. It wasn't until last year that iPad and iPhones varied in operating system. Up until last year, they had the exact same damn operating system. They both ran iOS. So you mean to tell me in the 10 years that Instagram has existed, and the 10 years or whatever, or 9 years that iPhones and iPads have had the same operating system, that you couldn't find time or resources to develop a native Instagram app when iPhones and iPads were both running iOS? What? What are you talking about? Again, I had a lot of iOS developers reach out to me on Twitter today, and they are legit. One dude told me that Instagram reportedly made 20 billion, baby, not million, not thousands, $20 billion in 2019. So let me get this straight, Mosseri. Your Instagram platform made $20 billion last year, but you want to tell me you don't have the resources or the manpower to dedicate to a dedicated iOS app? Are you serious right now? You're owned by Facebook. You know what? Hold on. A lot of people pointed that out to me today on Twitter too. Instagram is owned by Facebook, and y'all know how much money Facebook has. But you know what? I'm about to set off from Google, so I apologize. So y'all about to get mad at me. I'm about to set off a few Googles. So if you're listening if you're audio only, if you're listening, or if you're watching the live stream, you might want to turn your Google off. We're about to set it off right now. But How much did Facebook make last year? Wait, you don't even give me a number? Are you serious? What is this? What the hell? Ah, it doesn't even give me an actual number. Are you kidding me right now? Hold on. Let me try this again. How much did Facebook make in 2019? Ugh, this is annoying. So, for whatever reason, I can't find the exact number that Facebook made in 2019. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's more than 20 billion. But Yep. Wait. Oh no. Actually, it looks like Facebook made less than that. It looks like they made about 15 billion last year, apparently. Okay, but still. All right. So I mean, Facebook made 15 billion, Instagram made 20 billion. I mean, the point remains the same. You're making billions upon billions of dollars, and you can't dedicate a few people to develop a native iOS, iPad OS app. Because remember, as of last year, the iPad and iPhone are running separate apps now. But my argument is that iPad OS is a derivative of iOS. Hell, it came from iOS. It was born from iOS. So the code can't be that much different. It's still the same foundational code that you use on iPad, that you use on iPhone to develop an Instagram app for iPad. The code, the foundation of the code is not going to change. It's the same damn operating system, only has variations on iPad OS. So how can you tell me that it would take this much time to develop a native Instagram app when you're working off the same base code foundation to make the damn app? Again, Instagram has been around for 10 years. iPad has been around for 10 years. So let's give them 5 years. Let's say 5 years from the filling out period, whatever. So you mean to tell me over the past 5 years, you couldn't figure out how to make a dedicated iPad app? I mean, I'm sorry. It's not like iPad's a damn flop. I mean, iPad has single-handedly decimated the tablet market. Decimated it to the point where it single-handedly has no Android competitors to speak of. The iPad in the tablet market has no competitors to speak of. But yet, you feel like it's not the next best thing to do yet? When? When will it be then? When? I don't understand this. We just, what was it? Last week or the week before last, we just had Apple Q1 earnings call. The iPad made about $6 billion in revenue off of Q1. $6 billion revenue was attributed to iPad sales. So I don't want to hear the iPad's not worthy enough to get Instagram's attention when the damn thing would have made like a quarter of Instagram revenue in 1 quarter. Instagram made 20 billion last year. The iPad made 6 in 1 quarter. So apparently it warrants your attention. I don't want to hear that nonsense. That is absolute buffoonery. What kind of blasphemy is that? The iPad isn't that important. Are you serious right now? The hell wrong with you? What is this? What is that? He actually said, we don't have the manpower. We don't have the manpower. You know, I know it's like 2 separate things, but this is really hilarious because the last time I checked, Instagram is on Android, right? So Instagram is on Android. How many form factors, screen ratios, and variables do you have to account for on Android? Yet you have an Instagram app on Android where there's over hundreds of devices to account for on Android that have different screen sizes, ratio, whatever, all types of variables that you have to take into account when you are developing apps for Android. But yet there is an Instagram app on Android. But you want to tell me that you can't develop a few people to deal with the significantly less variables that you would have to deal with to make a dedicated iPad app, but you can do it on Android? Oh, man. Oh, my God. You know what makes it even more funny to me is that there are startup companies that don't even have like a quarter of Instagram revenue, but they have apps on iPhone and Android. Let me repeat that for y'all that didn't hear me. There are hole in the wall startup companies that don't have a tenth of the revenue or manpower of Instagram, yet they have applications running on both iPhone and Android. I'm talking about startup companies with apps that we probably don't even know about or never heard of, but they have apps on both platforms. But Instagram, a powerhouse, a multi-billion-dollar powerhouse, can't allocate resources to make a dedicated iPad app. So I highlighted I screenshotted a bunch of tweets I got in response to this today. So let me read some of these tweets and see if I can answer these tweets as I read them here. So let's see. So I got somebody who said something about it's not a non-trivial amount of work, plus way fewer users, so harder to justify from a business perspective. Tons of UI and anything you do has to be tested on both, even if you just let the UI expand and show white space. So this person is saying that because there's not that many iPad users, I guess, in a general scheme of things, that there isn't enough to warrant Instagram making efforts for an iPad app. Now, I just told you all that iPad accounted for $6 billion of Apple's revenue in Q1 this year. That's just in one quarter. $6 billion in one quarter. So when you tell me that there aren't enough iPad people out there to account for Instagram's attention, I give you $6 billion in one quarter. I don't want to hear it garbage. It's nonsense. Now, let me move on to some more tweets. This is fun. Let me move on to some more tweets. Oh no, that's the one that he made his excuse. All right, so here's the one that actually was kind of interesting to me. I got a quote from I got a tweet from a dude named Tech Jungle. He says, "Think about the iPad. He said, think about the Instagram video and photo compression for a second. Now imagine how that media will look blown up on an iPad. I'm sure they can make an iPad version, but would we like the results?" And to that, I say, nobody talks about this with the Instagram, not the Instagram. Nobody talks about this with the Facebook app on iPad. Oh, that's right. That's right. Facebook has a dedicated iPad app, don't they? Oh, shit. Yeah. Yes. So the same company who is the parent company who owns Instagram has a dedicated iPad app. That's right. Facebook has a dedicated iPad app. And nobody's talking about pictures looking bad on the Facebook app on iPad. But all of a sudden, this is a problem for an Instagram app? Why? Why is that a problem now? Nobody talks about this when we're talking about Facebook for iPad. Nobody discusses this. I mean, if I could be painfully honest for a few seconds, the iOS app for Facebook on Instagram and iPhone both suck. But that's just me. But they exist. And they work competently enough on both platforms, so I don't understand. Nobody talks about the picture quality on Facebook app on iPad. It exists. There is a dedicated native Facebook app on iPad. So the same people who own Instagram have a dedicated Facebook app on iPad, but for whatever reason, Instagram can't have its own dedicated iPad app. I don't get it. You losing me somewhere. Where's the disconnect? Somehow this all got lost in translation because I'm not understanding what the hell is going on. I don't get it. Where's the Instagram app on iPad? It's long overdue. Stop playing around. Stop monkeying around over there at the gram. Quit playing, people. But let me go back and read some more tweets. Let's see what we got. All right, we got a couple of more here that I want to read. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. So I reached out to big wigs. I reached out to some of the top iOS developers, and one of them got back to me. The homie Steve Moser from Mac Rumors, who's the top of the top. He's one of the top tier iOS developers, and he said he tweeted at me. He said the only reason why that makes sense for me why one of the largest tech companies doesn't have an iPad app is because it will make their product look bad, i.e., blurry phone pics wouldn't look nice on the iPad big screen. So he said the same thing that the other guy just mentioned about how the pic wouldn't look that good on iPad. And again, I'm going to say it one more time. We don't talk about this on the Facebook app for iPad. So why is this an issue for Instagram? I don't understand. There is a whole ass Facebook app with blown up pictures that are taken on the phone, that are on the Facebook app, but nobody complains about the Facebook pictures on iPad. But all of a sudden, we want to talk about an Instagram app, and then it becomes an issue. Why? I don't get it. How is it an issue now? I don't know. But you know what? I am not an iOS developer, so I don't know about coding for iOS. But somebody had the audacity to reach out on me on Twitter and told me I should learn how to code and then I could talk. Oh, you foolish mortal. First of all, I am the man about tech. Now, you probably don't understand how deep that goes, but it goes pretty deep. And it goes deep like this. Before I got my physics degree, that's right, physics, I originally started off as a computer science major. So do you know what that means, foolish mortal? That means your boy Vyyper has done his fair share of coding. So when you run your mouth at me on Twitter, just understand that I have coded in my life. I am not a newbie to coding. I know how to code. Shut your damn mouth. Man about tech. Anyway, so, yeah, you should learn how to code. I have a background in computer science. Shut the hell up. The hell wrong with y'all? But, again, my argument does not change. iPad and iPhone have the same coding foundation. It's all iOS. iPadOS is just a slight variation of iOS. It was built off of iOS. I don't really think that it would take much for somebody to port an iPhone app to iPad. It's the same foundation in the code. Yes, you would have to make adjustments for screen size and viewing and things like that. Of course, I'm not knocking that. I'm not saying that that's not a thing. But as far as starting out, as far as beginning to build the application for iPad, it is the same foundation of code. It is all iOS. It's all Swift, whatever the hell programming language they use for iOS. I think it's called Swift. The same thing. There's no excuse. Like I said, Instagram has been around as a platform for 10 years. iPad has been around for 10 years. I said I will give you 5 of those years for the filling out process. I'll give you 5. So that means you have 5 years to figure this out. And for whatever reason, you have not figured it out or haven't cared to endeavor to figure it out. And it's mind-boggling. There are so many iPad owners out there who would love to have a dedicated Instagram app on iPad, but for whatever reason, there's not one out there. It does not exist. Now, the crazy thing about this is that there used to be third-party Instagram apps for iPad, but then Instagram cut the API off from outside parties. So now Instagram is the only game in town for iPad because they cut off the API to third-party developers, much like Twitter did last year, cutting off their API from third parties. But the problem is that even though Instagram cut off their API from third parties, there is still no dedicated native Instagram app. If you're going to cut off third parties from making their own Instagram app, could you at least present something? Can I have something, please? Don't leave me in the desert with no water, Instagram. You're leaving me in the damn desert with no water. What the hell is wrong with you? That's not good customer service. Let's see, do I have any more tweets? Let's see, do I have any more tweets? I think I read them all. Yep. Yeah, I think I read all the pertinent ones. Yeah, okay, I read them all. All right. So I read them all. Damn. Oh, boy. So we are in the year 2020 with millions, maybe even billions of iPad users still without a dedicated Instagram app because Instagram CEO feels like it's not a priority, basically. Talking about he doesn't have the manpower. You have a $20 billion company talking about manpower. I don't want to hear that. That is nonsense. Now, like I said, I had a lot of iOS developers reach out to me on Twitter today. Some of them were like, yo, it's not an easy thing to make an Instagram app. There are a bunch of different variables with screen sizes and viewing and things like that. But a lot of them feel like I do. It makes no sense for the resources that Instagram does have when the code is based on the same foundation. It's all iOS, which means you're coding when you're starting to code for iPhone. It's the same base as if you were starting to code for iPad. It is all iOS. You are still using the same foundation to code. So a lot of the iOS developers agree with me that it makes no sense to them why there's no dedicated Instagram app for iPad when you're using a lot of the same code. But Instagram CEO will lead you to believe that he doesn't have the manpower to develop to an iPad app because it hasn't bubbled up yet. It's not a thing to do yet. We don't have the manpower to have an iPad app, and it's not bubbled up yet. It hasn't bubbled up. It hasn't bubbled up as the next thing to do yet. Basically, let me translate that for you all. The millions of people that own iPad aren't important enough. They're not important enough. He's basically telling you guys that you're not important enough to dedicate resources to a dedicated Instagram app for iPad. You iPad users aren't important. We got to concentrate on iPhone and Android and whatever else and the web. By the way, who the hell uses Instagram on their desktop? Nobody. Nobody uses Instagram on a damn desktop. Who does that? Do any of you in the chat use Instagram on your desktop or on your MacBook? I don't think so. I don't. Why the hell is there a web app for Instagram anyway? Nobody uses Instagram on the web. Which makes this even more infuriating because Instagram, by its nature, is a mobile-centric app. It is meant to be used on the go. And what is one of the most mobile devices that we have out there in the world? iPad. We have iPads with LTE modems in them, which is what Instagram is made for. Instagram is made to be a mobile app to be used on the go in any situation, any environment. It is made to be used mobilely. iPads have LTE chips in them. But Instagram they don't feel like iPad users are important anymore because there's not enough for you guys to justify spending resources to build an iPad app for Instagram. You iPad people aren't important enough. No, you're blase. Go away. You're not important enough. No. Again, in quarter one, Apple reported that the iPad accounted for $6 billion in revenue. $6 billion. But oh no, don't tell Instagram CEO that because the iPad's not important enough. It's not a big enough player to warrant a dedicated Instagram app. Oh, $6 billion in the whole hum in Instagram world. $6 billion a whole hum. Blah, 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 blah. You sound like a fool. So we got a couple of people out here. A couple of you out there actually use Instagram on desktop. I'm surprised. Okay. I can understand people like Beanie and things like that. Maybe James. I know you guys do a lot of work on your laptops and desktops, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the majority of people do not use Instagram on a laptop or desktop. No, there are not enough people that do that. But yeah. So I've kind of been ranting and raving for like the last half an hour. We're gonna take it to, you know what? Before we take it to the chat, thank you guys for rocking out with me tonight. I appreciate it. I know it's kind of ranty, but this kind of upsets me because I don't get this. This makes no sense to me, but it is what it is. If you're watching the live stream on YouTube right now, you do have the option to super chat if you want to do that. It's not required, but it is greatly appreciated. And as I tell you guys all the time, if you don't want your super chat taken, if you don't want YouTube taking 30% of your donation, because they do that if you super chat, there is a buy me a coffee link in the description. Again, not required, but if you want to donate to the podcast and support what I do, you can super chat or you can buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. I appreciate you guys. And thank you, Janolson, for pasting the buy me a coffee link in the chat on YouTube. I appreciate you, no doubt. If you're listening to the podcast on audio only and you want to support the podcast monetarily, there will be links in the show notes for you to do that. Again, it's not required, but it does help me out a lot if you choose to do so. So thank you for rocking out with me. I just appreciate you guys listening to me all the time. Thank you. But if you want to donate, you can super chat. You can buy me a coffee. If you're on audio only, check the links in the show notes for all that information. Now, with that out the way, I am curious to get you guys' thoughts on this whole subject matter. How do you guys feel about the lack of a dedicated Instagram app on iPad? Do you care? Do you feel like I have legitimate beef, or do you feel like I'm overreacting? I mean, how do you guys feel in the chat? I'm curious because I can't be the only person that feels like we're getting cheated without having an Instagram app on iPad. All right, El Jefe reviews that Instagram for iOS has been messing up for me all day. I had to switch to Instagram on Android to answer questions on IG stories. Oh my God, wow. I'm not really surprised because iOS 13 has been buggy all along. And yeah, I mean, iOS 13 has been nothing but a complete cluster. You know what? I mean, I don't understand. Like it's been buggy since inception. Since the public version got released back in September, iOS 13 has been nothing but a buggy mess. So El Jefe, I'm not surprised that you've had that experience on Instagram for iOS. I mean, I'm having an issue for iOS on the YouTube app I'm having an issue on the YouTube app on iOS where my descriptions are like disappearing. Like, what is that? I know they're there because I put them there, but when I go look at when I go to try to look at descriptions on certain YouTube videos, the description is gone. It's not there. I'm like, what the hell is this? I put a description there. Now, if I do that on an Android device, then the description is intact. But if I look for that same description on iPhone, it's not there. So I don't know what's going on with iOS. It's kind of weird. All right, Beanie Jaw says it's not dedicated, but you can download the iPhone version onto the iPad. Yep, I talked about that earlier. It's basically like a mini version. It's like a mini app. It doesn't even look right. It's kind of crazy, but if you want to do that, if you must have Instagram on iPad, yes, you can download the iPhone Instagram app on your iPad if you absolutely need it. It's not ideal. It works, but we should not have to resort to that. We should not have to get a mediocre customer experience because Instagram is too lazy to build out a dedicated iPad app. That is on Instagram. That's not on there. That's not a customer thing. That is an Instagram thing. That is piss poor customer service. That is exactly what that is. You should not have to experience Instagram in its iPhone form on iPad. What the hell is that? That's terrible. James Brett says manpower is a silly excuse for Instagram. Most of the apps I use have iPad and desktop versions. It can't be that hard for one of the most successful apps out there. You would think so. Like I said, Instagram made $20 billion last year. They got to have more than enough manpower to do what they need to do. And they are just refusing to get it done. I don't know. Delasha says he's also annoyed about Instagram not having a dedicated iPad app. And he hates how terribly optimized the Facebook app is. Yeah, like I said earlier in the podcast, the Facebook app for iPad and iPhone, they both suck. They suck. Facebook for iOS is terrible. I don't know why. It's not much better on Android, but I think the Facebook app works better on Android than it does on iOS. It's just, I don't know. It's goofy. Dr. Donna, how you doing? Let's see. Oh, we got. El Jefe says Instagram is crashing on iOS when he tries to answer his stories. That's craziness. Shinosa says, I don't own an iPad, but IG is like what? At least top 5 in the App Store? Yeah. Shouldn't it have a coexisting iPad app as well? App developed since split screen between iOS and iPadOS should now require you to have a coexisting app. You would think so. But apparently Instagram did not get the memo, or they just don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. Let's see. So Tech 702 says he is fine running the Instagram app on his 12-inch iPad. Well, you are in the minority because that's craziness. That is craziness. But yeah. Let's see. Tech Lover Mama says, is it bad using the browser to log into Instagram on iPad? I never tried, so I don't know. But I mean, again, you really shouldn't have to do that. There should be a dedicated Instagram app for iPad. You shouldn't have to go through all these workarounds just to have Instagram on your iPad. It's just ridiculous. It's uncalled for. Oh, the artist Haven says the Instagram, the Android app or the Facebook Android app is horrible too. Damn. Oh well. I mean, I try to give him credit, but yeah. And Tech 702 says Facebook is better on iOS than Android. Okay, all right. I don't know, man. Sometimes the Facebook iOS app is wonky AF, and I don't have no problem on Android, but sometimes it is better. Sometimes, most of the time, it's not. It is not. But yeah, when you got the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company coming out and saying that he doesn't have the manpower to allocate to a dedicated iPad app when iPad is one of the biggest platforms on planet Earth, it makes me laugh and it gets me pissed at the same time. I start laughing and I start getting pissed at the same time. It's ridiculous. It's just dumb. I don't understand it. You have more than enough resources to make a dedicated iPad app. You're owned by Facebook. What are you talking about? Wait, what are you talking about? How did that even how did he even fix his mouth to say something like that? How did you fix your mouth to say something like that, man? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Let's see, let me see if I got any more responses coming in on Twitter. People have been responding to my tweet about this all day long. Like this has to have been the longest shelf life of anything I've ever tweeted in my life. Like people have been responding to me all day about this singular tweet. I think a lot of people are just like miffed and frustrated as I am about this. Like I said, the iPad has been around for 10 years. Instagram has been around for 10 years. But yet, for whatever reason, we don't have a dedicated Instagram iPad app. And it's just dumb. It's inexcusable at this point. Especially, like I said earlier, when you have Instagram for Android and you got to account for all those different devices on Android. I mean, are you kidding me? Well, what are we talking about here? But what the hell? I don't know. You guys got anything else you want to add before we get out of here tonight? Any other thoughts, questions, opinions about this whole Instagram iPad debacle? Speaking now or forever hold your peace. Oh man, wow. In other news, I am glad that the podcast is back. It's nice to have the podcast back. You know, it's cool to make YouTube videos and things like that, but it's nice to have like just a free flowing form of communication like the podcast. I could just turn on the camera, get on the mic, and just say whatever and rock with you guys. Uh, there are very few things in the creative space like actually live streaming in real time with your audience. Like this experience right here is legit. I think Roberto Blake put out a tweet earlier about things that you wish or do you wish your channel would grow or whatever the case may be. And I had said something to the effect of sometimes I wish my channel would grow, but times like this, I'm kind of glad that it hasn't grown because right now I got 31 people watching this podcast and I can communicate with every single one of you with ease. Like I don't miss super chats or I don't miss combos or questions or things like that because right now it's only 31 of you in here rocking with me and that's cool. I mean, sometimes I do wish I had a bigger channel. I wish the channel would blow up. This like things like that. I mean, I'm a creator. I mean, if I don't think about that stuff, I'm not. What am I doing here? You know, of course I want my channel to blow up, but at the same time, I enjoy having these close knit conversations with you guys right now because this is a unique experience. This allows me to share a unique and connected bond with you all because you all come up and you show up for every live stream, and it's usually the same lot of you all the time. So that allows me to develop a relationship with you guys and talk to you guys on a more personal level, and it's cool. So I'm okay with where I am. You know, I always tell people that everything happens in due time, and if the channel blows up, it blows up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm gonna have fun regardless. All right, you know, since it sounded earlier like people didn't find your IG issue a big issue, and I like you still got on and did your rant. Oh yeah, like I said, I think most people online today agree with my premise. They agree that there should be a dedicated Instagram app. Like I said, there are some developers that were trying to tell me that it's not as easy as making a dedicated Instagram iPad app, and I understand that. But again, as I keep saying, the foundation of code that you need to start an Instagram iPad app is the same as the Instagram iOS app. So don't tell me that you don't have the resources and the manpower when the coding foundation is the exact same. iPad OS is iOS. It's not a different coding thing. It's the same damn coding structure. You just got to account for the different screen sizes and resolutions of iPad. It's the same coding base. So it's ridiculous for them to say that they don't have the manpower or it'll take a long time to develop an Instagram app when you were talking about the same code base. It's craziness. Yeah, Tish. I mean, it's really cool that you get to we get to have this one-to-one interaction with our viewers. Uh, I think these live streams bring us closer together because it gives you guys a chance to get a more of a personal insight into me and the way I think, because I can answer you guys one-to-one in real time. I mean, I can't do that when I drop a normal regular video. So it's cool for me to be able to come on here and do these live streams. Before we get out of here though, I need to grab my video from earlier tonight because I dropped a new video on the main channel. So I need to go grab that and put it in the chat before I leave so you guys can watch it if you haven't already. It's cool. Now of course I can't find it. Oh, there it is. All right, cool. So I got that. Let me saw that. And booyah. Let me copy and paste. All right, so we still got some stuff going on in the chat. Let's see. Let me go down here. All right, we got Tyler Miller wants to stop by and say hello. What's up, Tyler? How you doing, man? Oh, he said Tyler said I would just want to stop by and say I checked my iPad the other day because I wanted to manage some of my accounts on my iPad, and I was shook there. Still no app in 2020. Ridiculous. Yeah, man. Yeah. And battery power instead, like I said earlier, it's kind of laughable that Instagram is owned by Facebook, but they say they don't have the manpower. But you're owned by Facebook. I don't know. All right, before we go, I did put out a video on the main channel earlier. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, please go check it out. It's like a 5-minute video. If you have an iOS device or if you have an Apple account, then definitely go check it out. It's basically how to get Apple Music to be your DJ. It will actually it's about a new feature that Apple unveiled called Replay 2020. And basically, it compiles a playlist of all of your favorite songs and things like that you've listened to this year. And the cool thing about Replay 2020 is that it updates every week. So every week this year, that playlist will be updated automatically by Apple Music, depending on what tracks you're listening to, what you're feeling, what your favorite artist, album, and things like that. It's legit. So if you want to know how to go get your Replay playlist, definitely click on the link that I just posted. I think El Jefe posted it too. Thank you, El Jefe. Click on the link that we just posted to go watch tonight's video. That is going to be it for VypDrive 64. Thank you guys for watching on the YouTube live stream tonight. I told you guys how to support the podcast earlier if you want to do that. If you're listening on audio only, thank you very much for listening to the podcast tonight. Definitely appreciate you guys listening on audio only. Again, if you want to support the podcast, there will be all types of information for you in the show notes if you want to do that. I will be back next week with episode 65, and we shall see what happens when the time comes. But until the next time, baby, this your boy Vyyper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.